Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Diesel Difference. It is your boy, Kenny Diesel. I hope you guys all had a good weekend. I know I did. It is Monday, December 28th. Got a little Monday Night Football coming at you. We also got some NBA action. No, it was a little late in the day. I had a busy day, but we're just going to review the slate. I'm going to give you my Monday Night Football pick. Actually, I'll give that to you right now. I got nothing placed on this, but I am leaning towards the New England Patriots plus the points. Why? Buffalo has nothing to play for. I think they're going to rest most of their guys in the second half. And I think Bill Belichick is actually going to fight to an 8-8 spot. He's 6-8 right now. I think they win two, and I think that's it. They're playing the Jets next week. I believe they can get a win against the New York Jets. And that's it. Speaking of the New York Jets, they played the Cleveland Browns on Sunday, and they got themselves out of the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes. I'm sure they're regretting that. I know Sam Darnold's not. He just saved himself his job and a lot of money. I don't think Sam Darnold is the problem in the New York Jets organization. I think it's more Adam Gase. But hey, who am I to say? But this is really, you really hate to see this if you're the Cleveland Browns. Obviously, COVID had an effect in the game. Baker was playing with practice squad wide receivers. Can't really do anything when you have no chemistry with your wide receivers. But here is my issue. You had 45 yards rushing, which means the New York Jets did a great job stopping the run. But you only tried to run the football 15 times. 15 times? What? Are you kidding? Kevin Stefanski, you're much better than that, man. You had a golden goose in the New York Jets to get a W, to put yourself over the top. Yes, it didn't matter because the Pittsburgh Steelers ended up winning that game. But guess what? I bet if they looked at the scoreboard and saw Cleveland was beating the New York Jets, things would have went a little differently. You know, you losing to the Jets gave them a little bit of a lift in the second half. I'm not saying they were scoreboard watching, but you can't say it doesn't happen. I mean, people have eyes, there's scoreboards, and they see the results of the other games going on. The Jets were up 20-3 with 8:45 remaining in the third quarter. Plenty of time left if you're the Browns. They just didn't show up to play. The third quarter, roughing the punter penalty really killed them. That happened with around 6 minutes left at the 50-yard line. Gave the Jets great field position. They did nothing with it. What happened after that? Cleveland blocked a punt, blocked a field goal. So they had plenty of time to win this game. Now the Browns' 92% chance of making the playoff is now down to 57%. Their next and their final game of the season is against the Steelers. If they win, they're in. So good luck to the Browns. I'm pulling for them. But man, oh man, you got to take the opportunities when you have them. And Sam Darnold, speaking of opportunities when you had them, there should have been 35 points in this game on your aspect. Like, you got to end the season strong, my friend, or you will be kicked out of town. I'm not saying you're playing bad. Like I said before, I don't think you are the problem in New York, but damn, kid, let's get it together. Broncos versus Chargers was the next game on the list. The line on that game was 2.5 in favor of the Chargers. Chargers covered. They won that game 19-13. Shout out to all those those degenerate gamblers betting on a meaningless game. If there's a line, it's an important game for the people. I understand that. Next game we got on the Monday review show is the Washington football team versus the Carolina Panthers. Don't get it twisted, guys. The score was 20-13, but this game was in control by Matt Rule and the Panthers the whole time. Teddy Two Gloves controlled the game, didn't turn the ball over. He did his thing. Dwayne Haskins was playing in this game. He later on got benched, and their third stringer ended up playing pretty well. Supposedly, the word on the street, sources say, little birdies tell me that Dwayne Haskins just is not motivated enough to play professional football. He is not trying to learn from Alex Smith or Case Keenum when they were there. Alex Smith will be returning back next week. I have him as the comeback player of the year. I got that at plus 440. Now it's over minus 600. He's pretty much a lock for comeback player of the year. The Washington football team, their situation, guys, is that if they win against Philly next week, they are in, and I believe they will. If they don't win, then their season is over, and then the winner of the Dallas Cowboys New York Football Giant game in the Meadowlands will be playing in the playoffs, most likely against the Tampa Bay Bucks, where they will most likely get absolutely waxed. But hey, if it's my New York Football Giants, I'm pulling for them. I'll love to see Joe Judge get into the playoffs at a 6-9 record. Jesus H Christ. Next game we got, guys, is a game that I wagered on and I lost. I don't like saying that, but it is the absolute truth, and I will tell you nothing but the truth. So help me God. The Kansas City Chiefs versus the Atlanta Falcons in Arrowhead. I was so wrong on this game. I thought Kansas City was going to blow this defense out, and they just laid an egg. The line was 10.5. I had Kansas City in the first half. I got cute. I was just trying to take Kansas City -7 in the first half. That did not cover. Kansas City hasn't covered the last 8 games. And who's making the books are making more money than you've ever seen on the Kansas City Chiefs. Stop betting on the Kansas City Chiefs, guys. I just thought this was a good spot. I haven't bet on them in a while. Turns out I still can't bet on them. I won't bet on them to the playoffs, and they probably won't cover in the playoffs either. But who knows? Because when it comes to the playoffs, those spreads got to be dwindled down a lot because these are good football teams. So we'll see. Maybe Kansas City is a team that you can bet on come playoff time. I think they're going to the Super Bowl because they can turn it on against anybody. Do I think they're going to win the Super Bowl? No. I think the Green Bay Packers win the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers, that's a bad man. I love Aaron Rodgers. Shout out my boy Joey C. 3-6. Can't not love Aaron Rodgers right now in the flannels, dicing up the Tennessee Titans yesterday. It was not even close. Next game we got a lot of money was on this game. Cincinnati Bengals versus the Houston Texans. The public smashed this game, and it was all on the wrong side. No one was on the Bengals, and they showed up. The line was -7.5, and they lost by 7. Week 16 football, kids. You see some weird shit, to say the least. Houston plays Tennessee in the last game of the season, and the Tennessee need that game bad if they have any shot of trying to get into the playoffs. Granted, this is a 10-5 football team. They are going to get into the playoffs, but that 11th win will definitely be a lot better for them going in. Next game we got Bears Jaguars. Congratulations to the Chicago Bears and congratulations to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's clap it up for the Jacksonville Jaguars, ladies and gentlemen. You got Trevor Lawrence. Don't screw it up, guys. All you got to do is just pick him. That's it. You just got to write the first and last name on the card. You don't even need the middle name, and you got a quarterback for 20 years. Bears did their job. They covered. The Bears are trying to get into the playoffs. They have a really good shot. They just have to win next week, and we'll see what goes on for that. Colts Steelers. I was on the Colts on this game, guys. I went 1 for 2 this week. I only sent out one premium play, which was the Green Bay Packers -2.5 first half. So on my Instagram, I was 1-0, but in reality, I was 1-2. I'm never going to give you a game that I absolutely am not certain of. That's why I only gave you the Green Bay Packers, because I was certain Aaron Rodgers was going to come out hot and do his thing. He was going to let Booby spin, and he did. Devontae went absolutely off, and I wasn't surprised at all. I even got a nice prop bet of Ryan Tannehill scoring a rushing touchdown. Anytime scorer was what it was. I love that. All right, guys. What else do we got? We got the Cowboys versus the Eagles. I touched on that before. I thought this was going to be, Jalen Hurts was going to run all over this Dallas defense. That did not happen whatsoever. The Eagles were up 14-0 at one point in this game. Then the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton, went absolutely apeshit and won a 33-3 run. Cowboys got the job done and now just need to get a W next week with a Washington loss, and they will be in the playoffs. Seahawks, Rams, this is going to get dicey now, guys. The Seahawks are now at 10-4, and the Rams are going to be at 9-6. The Rams, if they lose, the Bears are going to take that spot, and they're not going to be in the playoffs. Jared Goff broke his thumb, snapped it back in mid-game. That was pretty cool to watch. I love to see that. You got to love the toughness on Jared Goff, but you can tell when Jared Goff is going to have a bad game. If you see Jared Goff, ladies and gentlemen, if you see Jared Goff in the first 2 series of a football game, and he looks like, maybe me playing out there, I did bring a flag football team to a championship. I'm just saying, I can spin. If anyone needs me, I got eligibility left. Booby can spin. But this LA Rams team, they're going to be looking for a quarterback and offensive lineman in the offseason. I wouldn't be surprised. There's some rumors out there that they're looking towards Ian Book. I like that for them. Ian Book coming out of Notre Dame. Great quarterback, very accurate. I think he's right up Sean McVay's alley. But they got pretty much they didn't get their doors blown off, but Hawks ended up winning 20-9, and that defense is just a lot different. Jamal Adams, they're stacking 8 in the box, and they really did their thing out there. Pete Carroll getting some momentum going into the playoffs. Unfortunately, they're probably going to run into Green Bay in the divisional round and get their doors absolutely blown off because they're going to be playing in Green Bay, and I just don't see it working out for Seattle. Excited for the NFC playoffs. I always think the NFC playoffs are a little more exciting than the AFC. The AFC, you know what you're going to get, but in the NFC, you got the Saints, you got the Hawks, you got the Packers, you got the Bucks. Teams in and teams out that can surprise anybody. But yeah, guys, that's what was pretty much the highlights of the Monday. I can't believe that Colts Steelers game. Colts are up 24-7, and then they just collapsed. I just don't understand the collapse there. Colts bettors like myself was very frustrated in the second half. Pittsburgh D, though, you have to give them credit. They did show up in the second half. The Colts, only their last points were at 8 minutes left in the third quarter. Excuse me, it was 9 minutes left in the third quarter, and then they did nothing. They absolutely did nothing. They had six possessions after that, and they just couldn't get it done. So that's really tough to see for Colts bettors, and I expected the Colts to win that ball game, no problem. I don't think the Steelers are a very good team. They squeezed one out. They still can't run the ball. So if the Steelers are going to rest their players next week, which I think they will, which will definitely help out the Cleveland Browns, I think that's bad for them. I think they just keep the momentum going, and they got to learn how to play together, and they got to bite down on their mouthpiece and run the football. I understand they can't, but something's got to give, man. Maybe put a defensive lineman at offensive guard on running plays, or just run 21 personnel and get Big Ben out of the shotgun. Maybe go under center maybe once a game, Mike Tomlin. What are you gonna do though? I can't call the plays. The Steelers are loaded defensively, but if they can't run the football, you're not going to win come playoff time. I can guarantee you that. Defense wins championships, and so does controlling the clock. And Pittsburgh is one of the worst teams when it comes to time of possession. Next game that I saw, speaking of the AFC North, is the New York Football Giants versus the Baltimore Ravens. This game was really a must-win for both teams for playoff chances. The line was 10.5. A lot of shop bettors were on the Football Giants, and the backdoor cover almost came through, but Danny Dimes just couldn't get it done. Ravens got a Christmas present and a half, ladies and gentlemen. They just need to beat the Bengals next week, and they are in because of the Colts and Cleveland loss. So things are looking up for Lamar and the boys, and that is a dangerous team when it comes to the playoffs. Because, yes, 2 years ago, at that time, they were the San Diego Chargers. Now they're the LA Chargers. But they really kind of put a blueprint of how to beat Lamar in the playoffs. They took their Will linebacker out, pretty much put another nickel in, so they're running pretty much a double nickel, and they were letting Lamar beat you via pass. And I think that is still the way. You have to contain him. You got to contain that running game, and you have to let him pass. But if you don't do that, you sit back there in a 4-3, it's going to be a long night for you. And that's what it was for the football Giants. They just sat back, ran cover 2, and it didn't look good. But, like, the Giants did not have the offense to even keep up. Giants didn't have a chance in that game. 10.5 is a great number. In reality, that number should have been 14.5 because the Giants cannot score. I don't know what it is, but for right now, for the past 3 weeks, they cannot move the football. I can't wait for next year to get Saquon back, hopefully draft another offensive lineman, and I think we'll be okay, to be honest with you. I really have hopes for the New York Football Giants, and I think they win the division next year and get into the playoffs. I really do. I think Joe Judge is the best coach in the NFC East. I know that is not much to say, but that is my true belief. Guys, we got transferring from some NFL to the NBA. We got the Pistons and the Hawks. This game opened up at 8.5 in favor of the Hawks. Now it's been betted up to 10.5. All the money's on the Hawks. That makes me want to lean towards Blake Griffin and the boys and the Pistons. Nets Grizzlies, the line is 2.5 in favor of Memphis because Kyrie and KD is resting. Also came out today that Spencer Dinwiddie, good player, has a partially torn ACL. He's out for the season. You hate to see that. Thoughts and prayers are with him. I haven't prayed since 99, but it's always nice to say, right? So obviously I'm going to lean Memphis here, minus 2.5. That game tipped off already. I have no idea what's going on with it. Sorry for the late pod today, ladies and gentlemen. We got the Utah Jazz versus OKC. The line is 9 in favor of the Jazz. As you would expect, I like the first half line in this one, guys. The Jazz -5 first half. Love that. I'm going to sprinkle some money on that. Let me write that down, and we'll see how we did tomorrow. Jazz -5 first half for your boy. Next one we got is Nuggets versus Rockets. Fat James Harden is back and showed he can still score, ladies and gentlemen. I think the line's too big at 9. I wouldn't touch it. Harden can explode at any point. He looked like he's been hitting McDonald's in the offseason, and good for him, I love McDonald's. I love it a lot. And I'll be honest with you, at any given night at LA Fitness, I can put up 28 and 10. No problem. So I think Harden can do the same. There's more value on the dog here for me than anything. The Nuggets have been playing pretty sloppy. They've been winning games. They blew out the Clippers the other night. Who cares? But they're still a sloppy team, and they turn the ball over a lot. Even though they had a great run on the bubble, I want to see what this team has in store because they are playing not the best basketball right now. And if they don't clean it up, they're not going to get past the Lakers. They're not going to get past the Clippers, and they might not even get past the Suns. I know I'm putting the Suns on a little bit of a pedestal, but I really like that team. Suns also just lost to the Kings last night on a 2 nights ago on a back-to-back. They went out and beat them again. As you guys know, I have a plus 1,000 future out for the Phoenix Suns winning the Pacific Division. So if it hits, I'm a smart man. If not, I'm an idiot, and I wasted $25 on a plus 1,000. But, all right, guys. I'll be back on Wednesday. I thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time. My podcast will be on Spotify, Apple Music, all platforms, the Diesel Difference, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I appreciate you guys listening. I appreciate you guys showing up on IGTV. You'll see the same episode on IGTV as you'll hear in your ear on the Diesel Difference. Diesel out. Later, kids.